though the shops on the street have Greek names. The prof thinks this has to do with Roman jokes about Greek business methods. However it was, I am a baker and live in Hebe, waitress of the gods. The lone gunmen of Nerds Incorporated live in Hephaestus, smith of the gods. The excellent cooks of the Pandamos family live in Hestia, goddess of the hearth. And my best friend Meroe, the witch, lives in Leukeithia, the white goddess, otherwise known as Hecate, queen of witches. We're the ones who have shops on the street, in the Roman manner, and the luxury of living upstairs from the job is magnificent. Though it does tend to mean that until the shop is open, I am not a sight to be seen by the fashion-conscious. Lately, Insula has been busier than usual. In the space of a week in which I didn't get time to do much more than gasp with surprise, I acquired a gorgeous ex-Israeli soldier called Daniel, a returned daughter Cherie for poor Andy Holiday in 4A, discovered that it was horrible old Mr. Pemberthy who had been scaring the life out of all the women in the building, and walked out of a goth club in full dominatrix gear with a murderer, a vampire murderer. It was a week I do not want to forget, but I have no mind to repeat, and just now a little tedium would be nice. Just baking and selling and maybe a nice gin and tonic on the roof garden, while all the other workers are hard at it. Ah, schadenfreude. A reliable pleasure. Since there is nothing to be got from the newspapers but despair and misery and Iraq, and there are only a certain number of times one can say, "I told you so, you idiots," I need a little schadenfreude sometimes. A gentle paw on my knee reminded me that my partner, Horatio, had finished his ration of kittydins and would now find a bowl of milk acceptable. Horatio is a tabby and white gentleman with impeccable manners and grooming. If cats have religions, he belongs to the one which venerates milk. I poured him a suitable amount and he folded down paw by paw, disposed his tail prayerfully, and began his devotions. Downstairs to the bakery, once Horatio had decided to take a little after-breakfast nap to prepare him for his afternoon sleep, I clattered on the stone stairs in my Birkenstocks. Every baker who wants to make it to 38, uncrippled, needs good shoes. I reminded myself that I ought to get Jason to buy himself another pair of proper shoes. You really need 2 pairs, worn alternately, but still he clings affectionately to sneakers, if you see what I mean. As I hit the last step, the mouse police collided with my ankles in a furry scrum, eager to demonstrate that they had been hard at work all night and deserved extra kittydins. Heckle and Jekyll, 2 black and white cats, named after the cartoon crows. I noticed that Heckle, who is a retired street fighter, had a torn ear, which Jekyll, a retired female, has been licking. I applied some disinfectant the vet gave me. Rat bites are very dirty, and he didn't seem to notice. Old campaigner, this Heckle. His ears have more holes punched in them than a punk nipple. He bounced up and down, directing my attention to a pile of dead rodents. Now that Horatio is no longer pinching them to feed a stray female cat on the roof. And that was a strange story in itself. The corpses have begun to mount up like an American election campaign. I disposed of the 6 rats and 4 mice, washed my hands, fed the mouse police, and opened the back door into Calico Alley. Morning. Cool and fresh. Before the car exhaust. Just the faintest scent of ozone from the trams. The mouse police ran out and down the alley, convinced by previous experience that Kiko or Ian, the proprietors of the Japanese restaurant, will have fish scraps for a hard-working feline. Even Heckle, normally a cat you would not like to meet down a dark alley if you were between him and his predestined rat, can achieve fluffy for tuna. Jason, my 15-year-old apprentice, was waiting on the step. I gave him my early morning glare, which checked his pupils for dilation and his fingernails for cleanliness. The eyes were bright and the hands cleaner than mine. "Ginger muffins today?" he said bracingly as we poured the first flour and yeast mixture into the tub.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.